Alright, so let's continue our video. So we said that we're gonna get the weather, and we made here a post route that will call this path / get weather, and once it go get weather, it will actually post all the information coming from the client, and then we should now call the API and send to him all the information we have. But first we have to know what are the information, so we presented them here as you see from the last video, and now all I need is making a const called weather, the same as we did as the client, but this time I'm gonna make a function or await a function called get weather, the same thing with the front end, but this time here this function will actually call the API itself. So the get weather now needs three things: lat, longitude, and so latitude and longitude, and the R days. And of course we didn't get them from the request.body, so let me get them here. So we have lat, we have long, and we have the R days, and all of them are actually, each one will be a constant destructed from the request.body, like that. So we have got all of them here, and we should await that, okay, because I think we should await for the request.body, or maybe not, you know, because this is a normal post. We will not even gonna get the request.body unless we take the parameters there here, so they should have come by the time we do this axios.post. So the weather function will take all of these and we'll deal with them in a separate function called get weather, but the get weather will be the same as we did with get city location. It will come from another place. So let me now take the get weather, but yeah, I remembered something. Actually, before you do that, you have to be aware that you will not send actually three things to this file get weather, which we will make in a separate file. No, you will actually send 4, because there is a key. Do you remember? Because you are dealing with an API, so the API will need a key. So we will need a key, just like we needed a username for the get city when we dealt with Geonames. So let's see actually the Weatherbit, the API we're gonna deal with, and you will actually notice here is a login. Let's put that aside, and there is a current weather. So the current weather has a documentation for itself, and when you come here you will find the weather forecast, which also has another forecast, one for 16 days or daily, one for 240 hour, and one for the 1 hour or minute. So let's open this one about the 16 days. Let's log in. I think this is my login credentials or something. Yes, and here you will find your key. So this is the master key. This is the one that I will use, I guess. And here is the current weather API. So as easy as this, you find the base URL. After this base URL, for example, if you wrote it here like that, you will just put the question mark and start writing these things, just like the lang. You will write, for example, lang. These are the parameters, and you will set it to English. This is what is written here. And of course you will have something like, if you want to add a new parameter, you will do like this. And I don't know if there are two or not. I think there are only one ampersand, and you will say key, for example, equal, and you will put your key, and that goes on. So you will put the key, and what we need exactly is that the unit is actually the measurement for the temperature. For me, as a man sitting in the Arab world, I set the units to M, which is Celsius. For you, as someone in Europe, if you are in Europe or you are in another place, you may use another unit. So you can use Fahrenheit or the scientific. It's okay for you to change this in my parameter. So this is the way we will get the parameters and everything. And this is an example, you know, it's the current. Yeah, it's the current weather. So remember that we said there are two ones. There is the current weather API and there is the forecast. So here, this is a specific URL you will use attached with a word called current/current, which define to the API that you want the current temperature. But in the Weatherbit 16, there will be a forecast/daily. This is the one that will deal with things that returns a 16-day forecast in 1 day interval from any point on the planet. That means actually that you will not get the same day you have put. For example, if you wanted day 16, you will not get day 16. You will get or just like if the remaining days are 8, you will not get the same time for the 8th day you are going to travel in. No, you will get an array of objects. In each object, 1 day forecasted till the time you are leaving in 16 days limit. So let me show you that here. I don't know if, yeah, just like this. Here we have 1/4/2017, and after that, if this continues, you will find like in the data an object for 1 day, 1/4/2017 and 2/4/2017, 3/4/2017. So you should actually use or select only the last object in this array, because the last object will have the last day you entered. For example, if the remaining days are 7, then it will give you all the 7 days. The last one is the 7th day, so you have to only choose the last one. I hope this is clear a little. So we have the latitude, the longitude, the city name, and all of these information, you know, we have. And the last thing is the key. So let's do that. And of course, the same thing here. We have the key, and here is the same thing. Include, we will not put this one. We will say the key, the longitude, the latitude, and we will get the current weather. Okay. So I hope this is clear. So let's go now to my application and start making the file through which we will deal with this get weather in the server. So we will say it's called get weather.js, and inside this one we will put this function, and we will say, we will just make the function at first not to get any errors. So now we have a function, and now we should export this function. I think I should do module.exports equal, and I should put it inside an object as something extracted from this page. So now I have a module.export, and let me make a CLG here and say I am working to make sure that everything is working fine. Up till now I didn't require it, so I should go here and require the file. So we may say it's called get weather, right? And require it from get weather. So yes, I guess now we have it here, and if we came to ask for /get weather, it will start calling for the get weather and put all these information. So let me write put this information here, all of them in the parameter place. And let me also, so latitude we have it, longitude we have it, our days, and the last thing is I'm gonna call that the weather key. And the weather key I will put in the environment. Actually I have a valid one here. I think it is valid. I don't know if it's still valid or not, because I think the trial was 7 days, and by now I have passed the 7 days. So this one may work and it may not work. I don't know yet, but let's see. So I'll go to the server, and where is the last one we took? Yeah, here it is. So const weather key, how did we write it here? Okay, we write it small, so let's keep it small. Yeah, weather key will equal process dot env dot weather key. I don't know if this is valid or not, but let's CLG weather key like that. Well, yeah, but it is working here. So now we have a valid weather key. It is working. I mean, it is working as a console log, but I don't know if it will work with the API or not. So now we have the weather key. It is here. So we have given this all this information to this kind of and of course he spied on my get weather, and he find that it doesn't need an await right now because it's not calling any APIs, but soon this will change and we will start having the API. So let's see if the function is working fine or not by making this request like this. Okay, now we will have an error, but let's see what is the error will be about. Or maybe the internet, as I told you. Okay, so we had a server error. I guess this server error means that the internet have problems. But don't worry guys, just a refresh, just a quick refresh, and things will go fine. Yeah, it's an Axios error because it cannot call the server. Well, I guess the internet will work. There is no need to stop the video or something. All still. So let me stop now. No, thanks to God. Well, the internet worked, but it's a little bit slow, but don't worry, this will change. So, yes, I am working. So we have a valid one here, and it is working. Now let's go to it and spy on our parameters. Are they all being get from inside the previous server call? If we have all the data working, then all the data here is working. So yes, okay, now we can continue, and now we can do our actually that call for the function that will do the weather call. But at first we need, of course, to get the Axios. So let me copy and paste the Axios here. So as we did before, we will now need to know. Of course, you know that sometimes the remaining days may be by minus, because I know that some people will, or it's a good scenario to expect and to handle the error of it, that someone may put a date in the past. And of course, we will handle it in error handling, but not now, because now we are just writing the functions, and we are trying to make sure they are all correct, and then we will get back and handle the errors. Alright, so let's now say if remaining days bigger than 0, and at the same time remaining days less than 7, because this is what is what has been said by the project, that if it's less than 7 you need to use the current API, the current weather API. So let me get you here where I used the current weather API, which is this one actually. So now we have I should put this asynchronous because it's now going to be asynchronous. So await the HTTPS API Weatherbit /current, and the latitude will be LAT. I'll change it a little, and the longitude is the LNG. and the units are rm, which means Celsius for me, and the key will be key. So now I have the API and I think it is working, but the only way I will sync in that in the right way is to console log everything. So let me put this here and make sure that we have a valid API data. So let me console log this data. I put these stars just like to give me a way to separate the data and see it in a clear way. Let me also put this also after the data, just like here. So now let's make this London. Alright, I have a valid first API request. And what about the second one? Okay, nothing working, right? Nothing here. Why that? Let's see, I didn't call the function or something. Maybe because of that. Okay, let me see. I will put here equal sign. But I remember this thing was working fine here. So it's a little mistake, I guess. Because yeah, the R days maybe not they may be not an integer, I think. So let's see that. Let's make sure where did this stop, because if it got here, if it got this, it stopped here. So let's see. Alright, so yes, nothing bad happened. So now I am having a working function. I didn't change nothing, so I think it's a network only. The count is 1, because as I told you, the current will only get me 1. And the data, it has 18.8. So you will ask me, I didn't put the date I entered, because I entered 18 of August, but here it is getting me 11 of August, and that's normal because the current will get you only the current weather. And I think they may give you the current weather or the project rubric wants the current weather as long as you are not going to travel after more than 7 days. So they do not want you, don't worry, they do not want you to put to them the exact weather in the same date you entered. No, they want to know if it's less than 7 days you are going to travel in, just show the client the current weather of the country or the city you are living to. But if you are going to leave after 7 days, this means that maybe the weather changed, so give him a forecast. So I think up to now it is fine, and I need to extract something from this data. So I think I should say data.data, because remember the big one, the big object is actually our data, and the small one inside is also called data, and it's only one. And in this data there is an array, so we will get the first result of the array. So let me show you how I will do that. So data.data again, and I will say 0. By this way I will get only what's inside here. So let me show you that. Here it is, look. So this is the data inside the data which is here, and these are the first object in the array. So what exactly I need from that? Alright, so I need the weather and I need the temperature, because as I told you, this is the current weather, there are no forecasts. So I need the weather, just like I need the description of the weather. Okay, because if you looked here, you will find weather, that's an object, and we will get the description of this weather. Okay, so the first thing is weather, and the second thing is temp, which is the temperature. These are the only things I'm interested in right now. The temperature is here. and I will get that from, let me first turn that into a const. Extracted from what? Extracted from the data, as I told you, dot data 0, right? I think this is the right place to extract data from. Okay, so let's now see what will be happening here. Let's console log that, and the temperature too, and see what is the result. Okay, let's go here and ask for London. And here it is. I have, what is that? Icon description. Yeah, because I got the whole weather thing. I'm sorry for that. So we should make now a const called description. But it's working fine. So that's thanks to God. I will get this from weather. And I will not show weather, I will show description. So look, now we have it, broken clouds, and the temperature is 23.3. But as I told you, this is the first API call for Weatherbit. There is another API call in a certain case in which else if our days, the remaining days, are bigger than 7, and we don't need to tell it to get less than 16, because actually whatever the day he will enter, I will give him the last one which will come in my list, and the list will never count more than 16 days remaining. So whatever it is, I will show him the last result. So let me now give you what is the forecast URL. This is the forecast URL here. Daily latitude is LAT, but look here, it's forecast daily. Here it was current, so this is the only change in the API, I guess. And here it's LNG, because this is what is in the parameter, and units are M, and days are days, the same thing, and key is key. So now we have an API, and we will do the same thing. Here it is, and let me put another one, and let me also put here a sign that this is coming from weather forecasted, not the current one, to make sure that the data coming this time will be from this one, not from the other one. So this time I will not only destruct the description of the weather and the temperature. No, I will also destruct the maximum temperature and the minimum temperature, because I want to give him a full forecast for everything will happen in this day. So let's see what are the data anyway first, and see how is the shape of it. And let me also, yeah, that's fine. So let's see now. So now I have more than 7 days. Let's see what will happen. Alright, so I have data from where it is coming, but you will find that it is a little bit bigger. The city name is London. The country code is GB. This is the forecasted, look. Nothing else. This is weather forecasted, not the current one. So city name is London. Country code is GB. The application or the maximum temperature at this day will be 23.5. The minimum temperature is here. The clouds, everything else. But this is in the 11 of 8, because I told you if we need the forecast, we need to get the last object coming. And the last object coming will be within, I think, 7 days or 16 days. And for me, it will be the last 7 days. Why? Because I have a free trial, because I don't have to make it a real trial, because I don't need it. So if you want to pay for that, go ahead, but of course you will not do that. So here is another object with a 12.8, and here is another object with 13.8, and this one is 14.8, and 15.8, 16.8, 17. Okay, we have now 18 or 17. Yeah, 17 is the last day coming from this API, and this means that the only thing or the thing you can get here is the last 7 days. And I'm really sorry for that, but I cannot make a trial with 16 days. If your key that you put, just the key, if you change the key to one that have the trial to get the last 16 days, you don't need to change anything else. The remaining days are the same, but it will get you more data, you know, but mine is limited to the last week. So it's okay for Udacity, you just can submit this. But if you want to get the last date you entered within 16 days limit, just put something like another key with a valid purchase. Now let's destruct this data just like we did with the other one. So, but this time I guess I need to be a little bit different in my style of getting the code. So if I said data, okay, and then I made an array, I will not put here 0, but instead I will put data length, because the length now is all the data coming inside this API. It will give me the length of the array, because this is an array, as I told you. The first one we got the 0, because the 0 is the only object inside the array that we want. But this time we will get the data.length, and we will just, as you know, the last index is length -1. This will be able to give us a valid object, which is the last object in our array, and the last object will be the length -1 to get the index, and the index will be that one right here. So let's see if we are right. If we are right, it should get us only this time 17.8. So let's save and see now. Yep, we have the 17.8, so we have made it the right way this time. Look, there is nothing else except the 17.8. So we removed all the other data, and now all we have to do is to destruct the same things again. So but this time we will destruct the weather and also the temperature and the app, which is here, max temperature, the app max temp, and the app min temp, like that. But this way we have all the data we need, and as I told you, we will get that from here. But still, we haven't finished yet. We need also, as we did it before, the description. Description will equal weather, and now I have everything to return. So the weather, I will call that the weather data, will equal all of that, the description, because I want to put them all in one unified object, and the temp. And this is an object, by the way, because as you know, the object can take the values and make them properties and values at the same time. The main temp. Okay, now we have an object with all of these data, and the same thing we will do here, and I will call it the same thing also, const weather data will equal, so this and this. Like that, we have the weather data. And now the last thing we should do here is to return whatever is coming from the API. I will return here the weather data, and the same thing will happen here too. And right now we should cancel these because we don't need them anymore, because they are making things look like a little bit crowded, and the steps are really few. They're not that bad. Let's make the things a little bit readable like this. So all we have done it. In the next video we will show how we will return all these data and then start working on the city picture. But let me first just like make sure that this is returned here in the server. So let me see that our console log, and remember we have just like omitted all the console logs from here, so we have here no console log except this one. And now we want to get the weather here because this is the way we will make sure that we can send it to the client. So let me see that. All right, what about the server? I guess there is a mistake here or something. No, here it is. Yes, I'm sorry, this is old. This is the last one. I'm working. Description, broken clouds, and temperature is 23.3. Now let's also test the forecast and put a very far date. Well, the same thing. I'm working. Description, broken clouds, temperature, maximum temperature, and minimum temperature. So everything is working fine up till now. And in the next moment, or in the next step, as I told you, we will start dealing with the next API after we get that on the client.